We are back. Welcome everyone back to the Astro Imaging channel. I hope you all enjoyed the, what was that game? Oh, the Super Bowl. That was a great game. But we're back tonight. And Carlos Sagan, no relation, I think, is going to give us a presentation from Chile all about observing and observatories down there that he runs. But before we do that, a couple of short things. In fact, why don't we, John, since you got a little something to do, why don't you give us a minute or so on what you're going to present for next week?
All right, great. Well, thanks, Eric. Yeah, so next week, my presentation is called Adventures in Imaging the Unknown. Basically, these are objects that not many people know about. They are on lists. They've been discovered by somebody, but maybe there's never been an image taken of it. What do they look like? How do you go about finding these objects? How do you process them? Not in great detail about processing, but there is some special things you have to do. So that's what I'm going to talk about next week. I've been doing that for about 1.5 years. And I think I have 5 or 6 images that were the first images taken of some objects. A lot of these are planetary nebula. Some recently a supernova remnant. And yeah, I'm going to talk about that and hopefully be able to fill up 45 minutes or so of some really interesting objects that not many people have seen before. So we'll see you guys next Sunday.
Thanks, John. And you know, when we are doing the same objects and targets over and over again, I think a lot of us, you know, are looking around for things that are a little bit new. And I know me, for when I try to find some of those objects, and John's going to explain how we do find them, because it's not an obvious process to do that. Before we get to Carlos, I'm going to share my screen because we got some exciting presentations coming up. Share entire screen. Share. So, let's see, where are we? So next week, John, oh, does it come up? There it is. John's going to be on us next week, and Salvatore the week after. We all know Salvatore. He's the one that we all post our images to, AstroBin. And after Salvatore, oh, what's that? I guess, yeah, Kim and I are giving a presentation getting ready for automation of imaging for the eclipse. I'm sure a lot of us out there are really going to the eclipse, and even though you're always told don't try to take a picture, if you do it automatedly and it all works properly and you practice, you can go off without a hitch, fingers crossed. And we'll be talking about 2 bits of software to do that. And after that, we got a few others. You can look at our schedule online on the astroimagingchannel.org. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And we're back. So, Carlos, we'll turn it over to you. Tell us all about imaging down in Chile and your observatory.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eric, and thanks to the team of the Astro Imaging channel. So I have been a long time watcher of the Astro Imaging channel since probably 6 years ago, and I want to use this little space to also say thanks to you guys, because it's very hard to find astrophotography information, especially in the southern hemisphere or in the Spanish. So this led to some of the work that I've done in my channel, sharing the astrophotography. So well, that being said, hello to everyone. Hello to the audience to watching through YouTube. And I'm here to present my project of on-site and remote imaging from Chile. This is where I live, where I have born, and where I started developing the interest of amateur astronomy, later astrophotography, and then it became a work for me. So this is a remote observatory, but for amateur astronomers. I mean, amateur astrophotographers. and also the possibility to come to Chile to do astrophotography on site, but with the help of an astrophotographer from the southern hemisphere that can help you to polar align, to choose targets, to discuss what's the best time of the year to have to do astrophotography on certain targets. So, and talking a little about me, so I'm an astrophotographer mainly, and people know me well. Carlos Sagan is my surname, and people know me because of my work in YouTube, of my channel DesiertoCosmico, which is aimed to teach astrophotography in Spanish, because it's very hard to find information in Spanish. So, and with that, I will be presenting my project here in the Astro Imaging channel. So I will be sharing my screen. Can you guys tell me if the presentation looks okay? All good? Yes?
Yep, you're all good.
Okay, great. So I'm Carlos Sagan Araya. Well, Carlos Araya is my real world name. Yes, and I will be presenting the DesiertoCosmico Observatory, which is remote and on-site imaging from Chile. So we'll be discussing, well, a little about me, for you to know who is going to receive you, or who is running this remote observatory, and then we go on to the subjects of the presentation, which are on-site astrophotography. We will talk about the sky and weather, where the observatory is located, some recommendations to visitors, and then we go on to the remote astrophotography, which is mainly the DesiertoCosmico Observatory, and how the project came to, and how the idea came to me, and how I was able to develop it through time. Yes. So a little bit about me. As I was saying, Carlos Sagan is my surname, which people usually knows me because of my work in YouTube. So I am a mechanical engineer, and also I have a diplomacy in astronomy, in general astronomy, from the Andrés Bello University here in Chile. And also I work as an astro-tourism guide. So I take people from the city, I take it to the desert and do stargazing tours, take a picture, go with local stuff. That is very common activity in Chile. There is a lot of astro-tourism. And I also am an astrophotographer. I have, well, this is like a curriculum, an image of the day in Astrobeam, 7 topics and 12 nomination to topics. Yes. So, well, and in May 2020, I started the YouTube channel, DesiertoCosmico, mainly with educative content in deep sky astrophotography, because that was very hard to find, and it's surely it cost me a lot of time to learn and discover that most of the information was in English in channels like the Astro Imaging channel. And one of my goals with the channel was to pass that, or translate to the Spanish speaking community. And I have, until the date, over 100 videos with mainly educative content, but others with unboxings and try of equipment and other subjects. Then, with the help of the channel, I started doing workshops for teaching astrophotography, and also for teaching processing in PixInsight. And then I started to do astrophotography camps, like start parties for a limited number of people, because I can accommodate only a limited amount of people in my place in the desert. So talking about astrophotography, this is probably one of my best image taken. This is the comet Leonard of 2021. that was picked up image of the day in Astrobeam. And I have this printed in my in my house. So probably one of my best images taken. This was taken with a hyperbolic Newtonian. I didn't list the equipment because I tried to resume the image, but this was with a hyperbolic Newtonian very fast f2.8, a sharp star, and with a dedicated one-shot color camera. And this is one of my favorite parts in the sky. This is the clouds of Antares, yes, and the Rofocus area. This was taken with my Takahashi FSQ 106 in a DSLR camera, a full-frame DSLR camera. And this also with, this is the Orion's belt. We also with the Takahashi and the same camera, a Canon 6D modified. So this is the place where we will be talking about a lot tonight. This is La Finca, that it's called, my place in the desert. Here is my car with my family inside the little house that we have there. So this is me doing astrophotography when it was a little moon, probably 30% illuminated moon that illuminates the trees and the background. And this is an image of one stargazing tour that I did at Pernal. You can see here to the right of us, there is the cupolas, well, the structures of the telescopes at Pernal. Yes, and this is the road that is very with dim light to cars to travel in the night to the observatory. And well, you can see the sky, Bortul 1 sky in Paranal. Yes, one of the probably the best sky I ever seen in my life. And we get to the subject of on-site deep sky astrophotography, and this is one of the first visitors that I have at La Finca. This is Martin. And after that, we became long-time friends because we spent a lot of time doing astrophotography together at La Finca. And this is aimed to who? To people that doesn't want to only do landscape astrophotography, because you can travel to Chile and bring your camera and your tripod and travel to the desert and going to do astrophotography, landscape astrophotography. And also, I am aimed to people that doesn't want to buy astrophotography data. We know that you can log in right now to some telescope renting data or pages that sell telescope data, or that you can download right away telescopic data. And also, this is aimed to the romantic part of the astrophotography and the amateur astronomy. When you go to the field, mount your equipment, do some troubleshooting, and also get to look at the sky. That I think is the most important part. Look at the sky, enjoy the views. Taking also, you can also do landscape astrophotography while doing deep sky astrophotography. And yes, and also I'll aim it to who wants to come to do his own astrophotography instead of buying data of renting telescope time. And so, but why Chile? There is certainly a lot of other places that you can go to do astrophotography, but why Chile? Well, I am in the north of Chile, in the region of Atacama, near to the Atacama Desert, and we can say that well, not that I'm saying yes, but there is studies and there is a lot of people that says that in Chile there is the darkest, clearest, and transparent skies. And A proof of that is that we have in the north of Chile probably around the 70% of the terrestrial scientific astronomical observations. In the picture, there is a picture that I took of the Paranal Observatory of BLT, very large telescope of ESO. There is observatories like La Silla. There are building a giant telescope like the giant Magellan telescope and the extremely large telescope very close to Paranal. So in about 5 to 4 years that those telescope, that giant telescope are finished, we will have around 70% of the terrestrial scientific astronomical observations. And also there is a conjunction of factors that lead to over 300 clear nights per year in some places. But in average, you can find a lot of clear, around 300 years per night in the north of Chile, from La Serena, Coquimbo, all the way to Antofagasta, that are where Copiapó is located, which is my city. So when I want to go to Chile to do deep sky astrophotography, but if you want to come to Chile to do astrophotography, it's a little difficult because for example, if you're doing alone, if you're doing for yourself, you usually, or probably you will not know what places to visit, and you will find there is a lot of astro-tourism for non-amateurs, astronomers or amateur astrophotographers. There is a lot of astro-tourism for like normal people that doesn't know a lot about astronomy. You usually will find yourself traveling alone to the desert for a couple of hours and then returning to the city that you are staying. It's difficult to bring gear. I mean, it's very hard to bring an equatorial mount. You can bring a tracker, a small tracker, but then you will find that it's hard to polar align here in the southern hemisphere. And you will not have guidance on site because you are traveling alone, and also this limit what you can do. What I offer in the on-site astrophotography, this is the DesiertoCosmico observatory on-site astrophotography, that I give advice on what's the best time of the year to come, depending on your needs. Oh, Carlos, I want to image the Magellanic Clouds. Oh, we'll discuss what's the best time of the year to image the Magellanic Clouds on the time that you have. Oh no, I wanted to take pictures of Scorpius on the central part of the Milky Way. Well, we'll discuss what's the best time of the year to take pictures of those targets. Yes, and also assessments of targets. There is a lot of books about a southern hemisphere targets, but probably an astrophotographer from the southern hemisphere can give you a good assessment or advice also. On site, I can rent deep sky astrophotography equipment that is very hard to bring. I can do polar alignment. Usually, bigger mounts you can align it with cameras like the Polmaster or iPolar, but trackers it's a little bit more difficult because most of them have an optic polar finder. Yes, and also I have a remote site to stay and sleep, so we don't need to drive and to set up and then dismount all the equipment one night after the other. Yes, and also I will be with you on site doing the astrophotography, so I can give you advice and assistance and troubleshootings and things that can go wrong doing astrophotography on site. Well, some of the equipment that I have at disposal for renting are like mid-range astrophotography equipment. Yes, some of them are higher level of astrophotography, but or higher range, but we will say that is aimed to the amateurs. Yes, so I have Ioptron CM60, CM70, GM45, GM40 for smaller telescopes, the Skywatcher, the famous Skywatcher AQ6R, AQ6M35 Pro, Ioptron Skyguiders, the Starwatcher, Star Adventurer, Vixen Polari, and telescopes, well, my Takahashi FSQ 106, Skywatcher Sprit 120D, and some William Optics small refractors, Zenith Star 33, Red Cat 51, amongst others. So, talking about some people that I have known and I have the luck to attend here in my place in the desert, we have Martin Campbell from Northern Ireland. He visited me for 7 weeks because this is this is like a funny story, because Martin didn't trust much in what I was saying about the clear sky, so he decided to come for 7 weeks on because of his experience on other deep sky astrophotography destinations. So I don't know. There is some questions. All good. Hello, hello.
Yeah, we're still there.
Great.
There's a question out there. Do you want to answer it now, since you got a short pause?
Okay.
Someone asked, what's the altitude of the site that you go to?
Oh, the site is at 1,600 meters high.
1,000. So translated, that's about
That's
5,000 feet.
5,000 feet, probably. I have my calculator. Yes, 5,300 feet. So, well, as you while you search for questions, I can talk a little more about Martin. So he came on the 33 of July to the 9th of September, so a lot of time. And he got a lot, about one terabyte of data with 6 different rigs. So in here, Martin, in the first picture, Martin was setting up the Vixen Polari that was there. And this is an Orion Optics CT8 that I have at some times. This is my Takahashi 106. This is a small tracking mount, a small equatorial mount with a Red Cat 51. And we have all of those equipment running for 7 straight weeks. So he still processed data from about 2 years that he came. A lot of data to process. And he only bring DSLR cameras and a couple of lenses. So, do we have another questions?
Yeah, we've got a question from Jeff. Wants to know if you recommend people bringing their own cameras.
Cameras, of course, yes. I mean, dedicated cameras, yes, but you have to declare it in the customs.
Okay.
Yes.
Does your observatory have cameras that people can use?
Yes, and I probably will have. I am building some rigs for people to rent,
Okay.
and I have a couple of DSLRs that I can rent. But if you have, for example, a camera with a IMX 571 sensor, that is a very small package that you have to bring. So I recommend that you bring your cameras.
We've got a couple of
Yes.
others while we broke here for.
Mhm.
You're going to tell us your contact information for those that might want to travel later, and I'm hoping you can take us over to your website towards the end of the show or at some point.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes,
Carlos,
I am.
I have one more question. So if you were to take a camera in a carry-on, you're still going to
Yes.
declare it through customs and have to pay a fee for that?
No, you don't have to pay. You can, well, customs in Chile are very aware of, as John Hayes says in one presentation, customs in Chile are very aware of astronomical tourism in Chile. So they know that you can bring equipment, declare as your luggage. Yes. You don't have to pay taxes. If you send it to Chile, for example, if you send the equipment to put it in my observatory, you have to pay taxes of the declared value plus the shipping. But if you bring it, no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We're clear on questions for now.
Okay. I will go on with the presentations. So we have Marcelo, that he came from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and he visited me for 4 nights. And with Marcelo, we went to other places also. He visited me on the end of February, so this is probably around 3 a.m., where the Milky Way is very high, well, the center of the Milky Way is very high in the sky. He rented a Skywatcher Star Adventurer, and he brings his camera and telephoto lens. Yes, and he put their lens in the Skywatcher Star Adventurer. Yes, and I since I have visit, I get, I mean, I use the time for acquiring with my telescope. This was before the observatory. Yes. Now in the observatory, I have a observing platform for the telescopes, and my telescope is in the observatory. So this was before the observatory. We have also Gianfranco. He came from Lima, Peru. He visited me for 6 weeks in March of 2023. He bring his own equipment. He bring an harmonic mount and a small refractor. He stay in the site and get advice and assessments on site. And also in the, as much as I like astrophotography, I also do visual observation, and I have at disposal this 12-inch Dobsonian telescope for people when they came to the observatory. This telescope is at disposal if the person has experience finding targets or looking through the Dobsonian telescope, or it can be operated by me without problem. I mean, that is included in the visit. Yes, and with this telescope, we do a full tour to the southern gems. Yes, you can see here in the picture. Yes, the Southern Cross, the Carina Nebula. Well, here is the 2 Magellanic Clouds, and there's a lot of objects in this area of the sky. Yes, so this is the new observing platform, or the astrophotography platform near the observatory. It's 5 by 8 meters of 16 by 26 foot. and it's around 20 meters of 65 foot from the observatory. Yes, and this is a couple of guys that visit me in a camp of astrophotography, where most of them are in the phase still practicing and like in the beginner part of astrophotography. So they come to give advice and to practice astrophotography in a good site. So apart from the on-site astrophotography, since we have close to other places of interest for that people might want to visit when in their visit to Chile, we can go to visiting the VLT Paranal Observatory. Here I am with Marcelo, Martin, Martin, yes, and here are with Martin and at the Hand in the Desert. Probably you might know from some landscape astrophotography. This is near Antofagasta, around 6 hours, a 6 hour drive from Copiapo, and Paranal it's a 4 hour drive from Copiapo. So even we can go and come to the observatory in a day. And other places of interest are the Tropic of Capricorn, yes, in the southern latitude of 23 degrees and something, and that is further south Antofagasta, and also the well-known San Pedro de Atacama. But usually we go to San Pedro for doing landscape astrophotography. We don't do stargazing astrophotography. Stargazing or deep sky astrophotography because we have that at La Finca in the observatory. And some recommendations for visitors. Well, you know that a trip, most of you probably are very far away from Chile, and a trip like that has to be planned at least with 6 months of anticipation. It can be done probably in 4 or 3, but I can recommend that the planning it's at least 6 months before the trip. Yes, if you're doing astrophotography or astrophotography is your main subject of visit, I will recommend 7 days of minimum. Yes, all of this around new moon. And if you want, if this travel is the once in a lifetime travel, you might want to come for around 3 weeks. In that time, we can use 2 weeks of astrophotography at the observatory and 1 week for doing Paranal or San Pedro or La Silla observatories. Public visits to Paranal and La Silla are free, yes, but as I said in here, I do the booking of the visit and the guidance and the transportation. And those visits are the Saturday at 10 and 14 in the evening, at 10 in the morning and 14 in the evening. So I usually take the 14 at the evening because we leave the observatory or Copiapo early in the morning, and we have time to have lunch and arrive to Paranal, and then come back to the observatory around 9 to 10 p.m. Also, if you are interested in the Milky Way center, yes, that is visible from, or is well placed in the sky from mid-July to September. And well, it's well placed before, but because of the weather, I will talk about the weather in a little. I recommend that you plan your visit from mid-July to September, as Martin did it. Also, from August to April, we have around 90% of clear skies. That is 2 to 3 clear nights. That is 2 to 3 cloudy nights per month. And from May to July, we have 60%, around 60% of clear skies. February, it's very variable. I mean, we depend a lot on the Bolivian, what is called the Bolivian winter. That it's the monsoon coming from the Amazonas. And this year has been not a good February month to do astrophotography. Probably we will have around 50%, 60% that is close to winter, or the poor season of clear skies, that is May to July. So in the on-site accommodation, it's we have two options. One is a large house around 120 square meters with four separate rooms, and a small private house around 30 meters square. Both houses have electricity, internet, 3G telephone signal, cooking and refrigerator. They have they have water, yes, bathroom, shower, yes. So, but I have to point out that also it's a remote location, so it's not luxurious in any way. So we have sometimes problem with the power of the batteries when there is a lot of consumption. So we have to measure what are we consuming from the batteries. And the site is around 1.5 hours from Copiapó. So that's it with on-site astrophotography, guys. I don't know if you have some questions. I hear you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll have a couple questions. The slide where you had that the 3 weeks is optimal, is that for Chile or is that for the observatory?
No, that's for on-site astrophotography.
So the ideal time to be
For-
at the observatory is for 3 weeks.
No, the ideal time for coming to do astrophotography on-site is 3 weeks.
Okay. Do you have visual scopes there that people can use?
Visual, yes. As I said it in here, the 12-inch Dobsonian. It's
The 12-inch job?
Yes.
I saw
It's
that in the picture. I didn't know if that was one of the facilities at the observing. Are there more than that? I mean, I can imagine. How many people are there at any given time?
I can have up about in special times when groups of friends wants to come to visit me. I can have 4 to 5 people, but I
Okay.
usually book dates with a lot of anticipation, and when I have a foreign visitor, I only have him.
Okay.
So usually you will be alone with me, and probably a couple of friends that come to do astrophotography for the weekend. But you will have the observing platform usually for yourself.
It's not a hotel. It doesn't have hotel services. You can rent a place to stay and you can use some of the equipment.
Yes, it's like renting a house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So I could, and I am from some of the astrophotography camps. I have done the complete service, but for only one people, it's not worth it. I mean, it's much spend. It's I think it's too much. It's too much expense or expensive for to do the whole package with food for or cooking.
So what you're saying is that it's better if you have a small group of people come together, like maybe an astronomy club from Northern Virginia or something like that. They all get together and 4 or 5 of them come all at the same time. That kind of thing.
Yes, and they cook for themselves, buy food in Copiapó. So
Yeah. Well,
we are. Mhm.
after the presentation is over, we meet we continue to meet here on the Astro Imaging channel. So when that happens, we'll tell you about Novak, and we'll see what happens then. I'm just teasing them because they're all conspiring right now.
Good, thanks.
Okay, let me see if there's any. Yeah, you need to bring your own food.
Yes, I mean, you don't bring your own food from outside Chile. We can buy that
you
food
buy it
in
down.
Chile, yes, and we can come back to Copiapo every 2 or 3 days to buy more food. Yes, I mean bread or beverages. Yes,
And
so we are about 1.5 hours only from Copiapo. So every 2 or 3 days we can go to Copiapo to buy food.
Now,
Yes.
Ignacio has said that you can bring your food, but in the site you can eat the local foods. By that,
no, you bring your food that you buy in the city. Yes.
Yeah, you buy it in Chile.
You buy it in Chile and you
buy
cook
it
it in the place.
Copiapo.
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, that's that. Oh, and how much does all this cost?
How much? The price per night is around 60 to 70 US dollars.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's so if I wanted to rent the small place for 5 nights, $300 to $350 or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And with that you get the advice, the using of the Dobsonian telescope, and I will be on site for anything you need with your equipment that you bring. Yes.
Okay.
And you can also rent bigger equipment or renting telescope time in some of the equipment in the observatory.
Have most people rented a car?
No, I transport them in my car.
Okay.
Yes. They arrive to the airport, and I will go to pick them up, and they will go straight to La Finca and other places.
Okay. Okay. I think we've been through the list, and so that's all the questions there are right now. Go ahead and continue your presentation.
Okay, thanks. So, talking now about the remote astrophotography from Chile for amateurs. That I want to be very emphatic in that, because there is already existing services like Offstage, Deep Sky Chile, Deep Sky West, Sierra Remote Telescopes, etc. and etc. But there are not aimed for most amateurs. I mean, they usually aimed for equipment of 50,000 US dollars or more. But the cost of those equipments justify the price of the hosting services. Yes, but I was a little upset with that it's not accessible for real amateurs. I mean, for me, for most people that are watching this video. So I came to my mind. It was like a epiphany that from all that I have learned through my degree of mechanical engineering and also electricity that I studied in the high school. As an astrophotographer, and the astronomy degree that I have at the university, I surely can build this my own. I mean, design it and constructing 90% of my own, and with the help of Starlink internet and solar panels and lithium batteries that are, I will not say very accessible, but accessible here in Chile, and you have reliable power, I thought I surely can build this my own and do it accessible for amateurs. I mean, lower the final price of the service. So it was in the place. Well, I have been at La Finca, where I call it, where I built 200 meters away of this place where you see these trees and my small house that I picked to build the observatory. That I certainly don't need to pick another place because, well, we have 60 kilometers away from Copiapo, 3 hours by plane from Santiago. It's a Virtual 2 sky with sky quality meter measurements around 21.69 and 21.85 in the best of times. And we are also here at La Finca at the foot of one very known place in Chile that is the Cerro or the mountain La Peineta. It was the site for Russian observatories in the 60s and 70s. And the Russians have plans to build a very big observatory there. They have the studies about the weather, about the sky, the scene. And this place was one of the first records also in search for privileged skies in Chile. In fact, there is a story that the Cerro Tololo it was going to be built in Cerro La Peineta, but due to the lack of the size of the port that is in the coast of Copiapo that couldn't receive the mirrors of the telescopes and the size of the city, because Copiapo is probably half of what is La Serena. So they built Cerro Tololo in more close to La Serena. So we are located southeast of Copiapo. You can here see in the map up here the city of Copiapo. Then you pass through small villages, some mining. There is a lot of mining activities around here. Some mining cities. Then you take a secondary road, a paved secondary road, then a third dirt road, and in 60 kilometers you are in the observatory from Copiapo. So we are around 8 kilometers in a straight line from the Cerro La Peineta, which is the site that the Russian has this observatory in the 60s and 70s. So the construction started in August 2023. I have to bring my machines to level the place. As you can see from this picture, from the left picture, that there is where the first pictures of the telescope being displayed with the trees in the back and my small house. We are about 200 to 250 meters away from that. And two reasons for that. We gain some sky to the north and to the south from this site. And also we are a little away from some light pollution that the houses and the lighting of the houses can produce. There is no public illumination. I mean, then the roads are not illuminated in this area, yeah, because it's a very remote area. So I'm going fast in these pictures. This is the platform for the observatory complete. Here is the one of the things that I didn't do for the observatory, that there it was the concrete pouring of the floor. That was a very hard job for me to do, because we couldn't bring a truck with cement. They have to make the cement in the site. So these are the workers doing the floor of the observatory. And to the right, I just finished. No, I am doing the diggings of the piers, where the piers were placed. Then, well, these are the piers for the telescopes. all still. Here I'm with the welder that weld the structure of the observatory. Well, I'm the assistant in here. Yes, so I have to hire a welder that allowed me to be his assistant in order to lower the construction prices. Yes, and the right I am welding because of my formation as a mechanical engineer, I can weld also, but not at a degree as a certified welder that needs to weld the structure of the telescope. I'm in the observatory. And here I'm welding some of the things for the piers. I mean the structure below the piers to give them more support to the cement. Yes, and here is we are advancing in the construction. So this is a whole metal construction. The um, the walls of the observatory. Yes, here I'm pouring this is around 2.5. I don't know what you say. Like the thing with the wheels that you pour the cement. It's like 2.5 of those for filling the piers. That around 300 kilos of cement per pier. So that is all being done by myself. And here is you can see that here there is no, the observatory is without the roof in the left, and in the right we are putting the roof in the structure. Yes, and then is to the right is the observatory all finished. I mean the structure ready to put I don't know how you call it, the walls, or the metal walls. Yes. So that's it. Like the little history of the construction of the observatory, DesiertoCosmico, and how it came to being intended to be affordable for amateur astrophotographers, and how I passed from August to October, to the end of October, constructing the observatory. So the observatory is intended for amateur astrophotographers who wish to host their telescope in a privileged location for astronomical observations. We provide infrastructure, internet, electricity, and technical support and advice to host your telescope. It's a rule of roof type observatory, and it has an initial capacity of 12 telescopes. Well, in the phase one, because we have already leveled the ground behind the phase one to build another. Once the phase one probably is complete, we will start building the phase two observatory. And since it's aimed to amateurs, we have a limit of 12-inch mirrors for 12-inch for mirrors, and up to 140 millimeters of aperture for refractors. And also we have a limit of equipment up to about $15,000, because it's aimed to amateurs. Probably someone who came with a expensive equipment, probably, well, there is Off-Tech and other places that you can host your equipment. Well, I am not with a calculator, yes, summing the prices, I mean the cost of the equipment, but I mean we know that there is high-end equipment and mid-range equipment. But for example, I have and there is a friend also that has his Takahashi. But he don't have a astrophysics mount. He has an Ioptron CM6, CM70 that lowers like the prices and overall range of their equipment, of his equipment, and certainly mine also, because I have my FSQ in a CM60 EC. So there is some questions. Everything good?
Carlos, can you tell me what kind of connectivity you have with the observatory?
Connectivity regarding to internet or?
Yes, to log in remotely to
Oh,
program your setup.
we have Starlink internet, but I only provide the connection to internet. I do not care about how you log in the. I don't interfere with the login to the telescopes. Yes, so I give the guys the access to the internet and they log in their telescopes. For
So if you have to upload a night's data, uh, how fast is a Starlink connection?
it's pretty fast. I mean, I have some data in here that in a month we have around 480 gigs of data. That's around more than 15 gigs of data per day being uploaded. So it gets, I mean, we have from the Starlink about around 160 megabytes per second from download, and we have around 30 megabytes per second of upload. But since it's a small group of telescope, I mean, in the observatory there is now 6 telescopes, and there will be 8 and soon because people that has reservations. I mean, I tell the other guys, well, I am be uploading data today because the uploading can be only by day, not in the night, because in the night we are using the telescopes. We share the internet. Yes, I mean the Starlink sure cannot handle probably 30 or 40 telescopes. But we can expand that in the as the observatory is growing.
And you're going to tell us what does it cost to rent a pier at the observatory?
To rent a pier, it's 190,000 Chilean pesos. That is about 240, 230 US dollars, depending on the exchange rate. Depending on the exchange rate.
Alex, do you have any more questions?
No, we've got everything one way or the other, I think. Oh, is there solar photography there? Do you have any equipment for somebody who wants to, doesn't want to carry their stuff around all over Chile on their adventure, but just wants to come in and take a few solar pictures at your place?
Solar pictures? No, I don't have on my own, but I
Okay.
have some friends that have. Probably I can rent some solar equipment for photography.
It would be an individual thing that somebody would have to arrange for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. We discussed all of that in the meetings previously to the visit. Yes.
And Carlos, if there's a need for tech support, someone's equipment goes down, they call you and you take care of that?
Yes, yes. I am in the observatory approximately half of the week, and well, uh, there is difference, yes, from obstation other hosting facilities that has 24/7 tech support. I cannot do that because it's aimed to amateurs, and I have to lower, yes, the cost of running the observatory. So all of the tech supports I do it myself when I am in the observatory. So I usually tell the guys, because we have a WhatsApp group. Well, I will be this week from Thursday to Friday at the observatory. You can tell me if you need something to do with your equipment. And if you do it, and if, excuse me, and if you want it, and if they need it right now, I will charge the fuel and the time that to go to the observatory. That will be a separate cost from doing like their special requirement when I am not in the observatory.
And where do you get power for the observatory?
The power is done, let me go forward, from solar panels, inverter, and lithium batteries. Lithium, yes, lithium deep cycle batteries. So that powers up all the equipments in the observatory, the roof, the telescopes, the IP surveillance cameras, the online weather station, and we have an initial capacity of 9.6 kilowatts hour, but the lithium batteries are expandable, so I can, as soon as I need it. Well, I'm a little low on batteries now. With 6 telescopes, the batteries discharge less than a half, so I probably can run up to 10 telescopes with these batteries, and then I probably need to buy another, but that can be added to this rack and work without problems with the existing batteries. That is one benefit of the of using lithium batteries, that you can expand the capacity in time as you need it.
What is the seeing like during the day if somebody were to want to take solar images?
Oh, I can tell because I haven't done solar photography, and you cannot see the stars twinkling in the day. So
Yeah.
yes, in the night the star, you can barely see that they are twinkling. Yes, it's
Where's the light pollution coming from if you're at Portal 2?
the light pollution is coming from Copiapo and from some miners to the northwest. So usually don't.
But it's an hour. What is it? An hour and a half to the town?
Yes,
Or
yes, an hour.
it's still.
Yes,
I guess
it's an
that's
hour
a
and a half.
comment in itself. As far as I mean, can't be that big a town. It's an hour and a half away.
No, Copiapo, it's 150,000 inhabitants. So
okay, yeah, I don't. Let me see. And it's 220 volt. It's been noted here.
yes, that is a thing to consider from people in the US and Canada, that we have 220 volts, and the European connector, that is the two straight. Okay. And we have 50 hertz also, the electricity. So probably we will have to have a converter or a conversion system. Yeah, a converter, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
where are we?
Yes, so I was telling that the observatory or the project is aimed to amateurs. So we have around $15,000 of limit of an equipment. Yes, and well, why? Probably you most of you know these things, but but probably some of you know. But why hosting your telescope? Yes, well, I can take pictures in my backyard, yes, and I do it when I can, when I have time, and I do it when the sky allowed me to do it. But that translates in that you have just a big investment in equipment without able to use it, without using it a lot for justify his value. Yes, we are weather dependent, and also we rely on personal time and commitments to go to do astrophotography. Yes, I mean, meetings, personal compromises, and that translate that we don't do it very often. Astrophotography. When we have to do it in our backyard, and we travel just to dark skies or to less polluted skies. Yes, and also we probably most most of you probably do it in your backyard, but if you want to have a less polluted sky, you have to travel a long distance or to escape the clouds also. So some of the advantages that the DesiertoCosmico Observatory brings that are aimed to amateurs, yes, with a the very affordable price, and you have access to privileged skies, sky quality, clear nights, and relative humidity, seeing without having to travel a long distance. And you can perform astrophotography from the comfort of your home or anywhere with internet connection. And important factor is that your telescope becomes productive. I mean, from the past months, telescope has been taking pictures for 26 nights per month, and that it's a lot of acquisition time. Yes, and also it translates to something that you have a lot of capture time available, that you don't acquire an object without haste, but you acquire it as long as you want. I mean, you can acquire 20 hours of a target that you usually acquire a couple of hours without you have the sky of your disposal. I mean, you are not in a hurry to capture pictures. The problem before after that is that you accumulate a lot of data and you have to process it. But, well, I was talking a little bit about this. Yes, we saw it when Alex was asking. The infrastructure is a roll of roof type observatory. Is a all metal structure. The steel piers are included, and also the mounting plate that is in the top of the support, the plate for leveling, it's also included. So if you don't have like an ioptron mount, that is like the most used mount here in Chile, when you send it, I take the measures and I designed and sent to fabric or to make the special mounting plate, but that is included in the price. Yes, and the roof, it's the opening and the closure. It's well, it's automated, but I mean it's not automatic because I have to have internet to open and to close the roof. I do it like manually, but automated. It is done automatically in the observatory, but I have to trigger a command through internet. Yes, and I haven't had troubles with that in the 4 months that the observatory is running. So the piers are 1.5 by 1.6 meters or 5.2 foot between them. That allows to put a 12-inch mirror or 140 millimeter refractor in the piers. So this is the observatory close, as you see it in these pictures, and this is the observatory open. Yes, the walls are 1.5 meters in height. That it's 5.5 feet. I think 10 inches of height. The walls. Yes, and the roof opens beyond the wall of the observatory to not interfere with the view in that part of the sky, as you can see in this picture. Yes. So I was talking about this in the question. Yes, we have a small photovoltaic plant, solar plant with lithium batteries and inverter. Yes, and we have a 5,000 watt pure scene inverter that is sufficient for a lot of telescopes. I mean, a telescope consumes around 80 to 100 watts. Yes, so we have a lot of power at disposal. And here is about the Starlink satellite internet that makes this project possible without having to take or to build or to hire a company that built uh, uh, optic fiber link that, for example, Upstage has one, but that is very expensive, and some up and some or get makes the renting of the peers expensive. So Starlink made things easier for us in remote places. Yes, because with a small subscription, you can have up to 160 megabytes per second of download and 30 megabytes per second upload. And also we have unlimited data. So in the months of November to December, we have around 480 gigabytes of data being sent through. And also you can see through here that the it's not even the distribution. I mean, in this day we have over 50 gigabytes of data. So in one day you can transfer 50 gigabytes of data without problem. Yes, and then if you can extrapolate that to all the days of the month, we can have a lot more than 480 gigabytes of data being transferred through Starlink. So talking about a little about the sky, we have talked some things, but talking more in detail about the sky, you can see in this picture is pointing east, southeast, or more east than south. We don't have any sources of light pollution there because we have the Andes and there is no cities or villages in that direction. Yes, and we have measured the Bortle, with the sky quality meter, and we give around 21.69 measurements. We have around 310 clear nights per year, not distributed evenly. We have from August to April around 2 to 3 nights, cloudy nights per month, and from May to July, about 2 to 3 cloudy nights per week. That gives us around 90% from August to April on clear nights, and 60% or 60 to 70% of cloudy nights from May to July. So I will say you may want to avoid May to July to mid-July to come to visit me. Yes, any other day I can guarantee you clear nights. Yes, the other we have subject to the weather. Yes, but I mean, 60 to 70% probably is not too bad. But as you are coming from very far away, I would suggest you to get from August to April. Yes. So the relative humidity also is variable, but usually doesn't go above 50 to 70%, 50 to 60%. The driest months are from April to September. Then we have 10 to 30% humidity in the nights, and then from October to March, which is the warmer season for us. So warmer air has more humidity. Humidity in, we have to 30 to 50 or to 60% humidity, and we have an online weather station. I mean, it's not professional; it's a Explore Scientific professional 5-in-1 weather station. You can see it here in the right. And on the left, we have here in the third point, we have an online all sky camera from the Freepond project. This is aimed to look for fireballs and to recover the meteorite from the fireballs. That there is in Europe there is a lot of these cameras, and this project is well spread in Europe. And now they are making a grid of cameras here in South America, starting in Copiapó and expanding to other places. And one of those places that was picked, because I know the astronomers from the local university, was here, the observatory. So we have, well, excellent transparency. You can see, I mean, magnitude 7 with your naked eye. I have seen 6.9 Neptune when it's at that magnitude with naked eye. We have excellent seeing. Yes, you can see below 20 degrees, you can barely see the stars twinkle. Yes, sadly, I don't have a scene measurement because equipment for measuring scene is very expensive, and I have some measurements done with pictures taken with a long focal length telescope, and also with my setup that I have a 1.9 arcseconds per pixel scale. I have undersampling, so the scene is very good. And only from May to September, which is the like midwinter to the spring, in here we have a light breeze around 5 miles per hour coming from the northeast in the night. The other months you barely have a breeze in the night. So all good. Do you have guys any questions?
Yeah, we've got some. Oh, here, let me make sure. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
One goes back to Dale, and Dale wants to, he's actually asking, would you consider providing 12 to 20 volt DC at the pier instead of going from DC solar days? And before you answer that, I would imagine that if somebody is planning on coming down with equipment, that you guys should have a long talk before anything happens, right? I mean, aren't you?
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
wouldn't you have to negotiate and find out what's happening with your particular rig?
Yes, sure. Because depending on the the nights, if you come for 2 months, like it's not the same price as you come for 5 nights. And yes, for doing astrophotography on site. And
So the answer to that question would very much depend on individual needs and how you negotiate with the people, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, we're
is-
going to leave that at that then.
yes.
And the question.
And excuse me, and the first question, probably yes. I mean, I can buy in here for $70 a DC converter from 220 volts, that is going to be less expensive than you bring your equipment or converter from 2020 to 110 or 20 that you use in the US.
Okay, but the important thing here is that before you do anything, talk to Carlos and find out what is possible, what it'll cost, how to do it, and everything else. Don't just like fly down to Chile and say, hey, okay.
And don't bring the equipment, and we will find that you will need something else. Yes.
Okay. Do you have thunderstorms up there very often?
No, there is.
It's not one of those
very
things.
little to none rain. Yes, I mean it can be 4 years that we don't have any rain.
Okay.
Yes, and we will have in the summer, now in February, we will have a lot of clouds to the high mountains, but away 40 to 50 kilometers away, that are in the high mountains. due to the high plain winter that is like the monsoon coming from the Amazonas. That yes, but we don't have thunderstorms. Yes.
And during the night, they pretty much settle down.
Yes, yes. During the night, they pass away because the Pacific, the clouds coming from the Pacific usually pass away from to Argentina.
Okay,
Yes.
that's all the questions we've got up there now.
Carlos, if you have to close the roof during the night for weather reasons, as rare as it is, do you have to do that manually?
Yes, yes, I have to do that manually, but because I mean the weather is very stable. I mean you can tell with 100% probability that it's going to be clear all night. I mean, and this is going to be a little clouds. I keep it closed. I mean, there is not. I mean, you don't need to open and close the roof because clears and clouds passing. If it's, I have some rules for opening and closing the roof. That, for example, if the humidity it's over 80%, that it happens some nights, we close the roof. Yes.
Okay.
But I do it. I have to do it manually. Yes, with connection to internet. It doesn't do it with a sensor of humidity. Yes, or with a sensor of clouds.
Okay, I think you can continue with your presentation.
Okay, thanks. So talking about a little about security of the place, we have seen in, for example, the John Hayes presentation of offstage that most of their telescope doesn't have how do you call it insurance because it's they are placed in a remote location. You don't have threats of wildfires, animals, and like weather or natural disasters. So, but talking about security or theft also, the places are remote and difficult to access location. I mean, you have to travel to dirt roads. Not a lot of people come to the place without being part of the community because we have nearby indigenous people that is from the Koya ethnicity, which I'm part of. Well, my house, my little house, it's inside the indigenous community, and we have uh, 4 people living there that lives there. I mean, and we are the observatory is around 200 meters from the indigenous community. We have also IP cameras, but those cameras are mainly for monitoring the state of the telescopes, the state of the roof. Yes, and also the only vehicle access is controlled because as we are going to see in the next slide, you have to pass through the side to my house and the house of the neighbor to go to the observatory. There is no other way to get in car to the observatory. And also, there is no mining or photovoltaic projects nearby, which are commonly what thieves are looking for: mining machinery or photovoltaic panels, but not 5 like I have. Well, 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 photovoltaic panels thieves are looking for. And only people from the community, from the indigenous community, pass through that road. So this is the place. This is like a valley, but a dry valley that we call quebrada in Spanish. That it's like a dry valley where usually you have some rains that fill with a little water, but um, we have some trees, but those trees are planted by the people. Yes, are like farming, and you can see here in the left that is the houses of the community, and in the here in red is the roof of the big house that I rent for people that come, the accommodation. And here is the Finca Cosmica, is where my house is, and here is the neighbor that has animals, horses and goats and chickens to raise and live in the like to do like farming, or like the indigenous people do it way a lot of time ago. And here, 250 meters away or 200 meters away, it's the observatory. Here, the big structure is the roll of roof. That is pointing, that is north is up, so that is pointing northeast, and the roof opens southwest. And in black, you can see here the solar panels. The other white structure is the observing platform of the astrophotography platform, and the other is the warehouse where the batteries and the inverter, and then where I keep stuff. So the accessible place is this road that you can. The road is splitted in here because there is an uphill here. So I have like for four-wheel drive cars and non four-wheel drive cars. But the only way accessible is through here, because in here you have a big fall, like a wall around, I don't know, five, no more, 8 to 10 meters high in this area. So you cannot access from all of this area by car. The only accessible part is this. Yes, and the neighbor is always there, and there is people that lives in here also, and I have always a community with them. So one important aspect of who are for who or for them that are considering to sending a telescope to Chile, to the observatory, that in Chile we have taxes even for use equipment that enters the country. So that is the shipping cost. So you have to have the shipping cost, the declared value of the equipment, and the customs. Yes, you have to pay 19%, which is the VAT, IVA in Spanish, of the declared value of the telescope, of the equipment, and 6% goes to the customs. So you have around 25% of the shipping cost plus the declared value of the telescope or the equipment. With a little example, we can do it here. For example, you have 10,000 US dollars worth of gear. I mean, you declare it for 10,000, but you can declare it for a lot less than the equipment value. But the only problem with that is that the shipping company will only, if the gear gets damaged, they will respond for the declared value. Yes, but I mean, in my experience, my Takahashi was I bought it that in the UK and Inglaterra, or how you call it, in the United Kingdom. Yes. So we declared it for much less than it worth, and I didn't have problems bringing it, importing that to Chile. Probably it was, talking about percentage, probably around 20% of the value of the equipment, and that was sent through FedEx. So FedEx is a very worthy or very trusty for sending gear or equipment to Chile. I will recommend FedEx. And we have, for example, in here 10,000 US dollars plus shipping 500. So we have some of that multiplied by 25%. That gives us around 2,625 import taxes. So you will have to pay and import taxes that amount, but that comes with the shipping that gives us 3,125 US dollar that you will have to pay for sending 10,000 worth of gear plus 500 US dollars in shipping. That will be like a 90 millimeter refractor with CM70 mounts. I mean, probably the mount will be a little more, like 700. I mean, the whole gear will be around 700 US dollars. Yes, and the FedEx and other shipping companies have some calculators that you put the destination, you put the size of the equipment and the weight, and they will tell you how much it costs to ship that equipment where you want it. And also sending a telescope to Chile. This is Claudio, a very close friend that has this telescope in my observatory. This is his Takahashi FSQ with a CM70 mount, with a mini PC mounted on the telescope, and a ultimate Pegasus power box in the telescope. It also have a Falcon rotator. Yes, and also he has one other thing that the technology advances and make life easier for amateur astrophotographers. That he has a automated flat panel that he bought in China from the Wanderer Astro brand, and he has worked very good, flawlessly. And he also have a robotic finger for pushing the button to turning on the mini PC, and he also have an intelligent switch in here that cuts out the power from all the telescope on the mount. So for example, for logging in the telescope, he switch on the power from the intelligent switch. The telescope gets the power, and then he starts the mini computer and can control all their equipment. So
Carlos,
yes,
do you have many more slides?
no, I'm about to finish.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, 2 more slides. Yes, thanks. So, sending the telescope to Chile is hoped to be a tested and working equipment, not buying new equipment and sending that without testing. Yes, desirable, or I hope that if your daily use telescope, or if you buy new equipment, you try it before sending it. Yes, and it's desirable that you have experience running a remote telescope with a PC. I mean, if you take pictures in your backyard with inside the house, that it's experience running a remote telescope. Yes, that you sometimes cannot connect, that something can go wrong, and you have to go outside, but that you have all of those little details of running like a remote, even in your backyard telescope. How you say it? Fix it, or experience with that, and also that you send a spare part like cable, special adapters, and power cables, things that can fail. Yes, and the observatory now we have, as I was telling you, well, I'm missing a 10-inch Newtonian that it's in this sphere right now. Yes, so we have 5. That will be 5 without Newtonian, and my telescope is in that pair. Yes, so that it's 6 telescopes running now in the observatory. And that's it. Fin of presentation. Thanks. Gracias. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me directly through my Instagram page, that is DesiertoCosmico, and through my email, that is desiertocosmico1@gmail.com. Thanks so
Thank
much. If you have any questions, you can tell me.
Do we have any questions remaining,
No.
Alex?
No, we're not. We don't have any in their discussion about 12-volt power, but that's about it.
Carlos, thank you very much for taking the time. I hope we didn't keep you up too late. I don't know what the time is down there, but I assume it's similar to what we have. And very interesting presentation. You can stop sharing.
Yes, that's it. Great, thanks. I hope to give you guys insight about the on-site astrophotography and the remote astrophotography aimed to amateurs. Thanks.
Okay.
I think we're all set. Are we, guys?
Mhm.
Carlos, if you after we end the broadcast, you can stay on a little bit if you want. Sometimes we chat.
Yes, sure.
A little bit late, but you're welcome to stay with us.
Mhm.
And other than that, I think we're all set. So, Patrick, you're in charge. We'll see everyone next week for John's presentation on spooky little objects that we don't photograph very often. And so, everyone, good night. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.